none of this social media shit makes any real sense intellectually. Um, when I went to Sierra Vista, Arizona, when I got my job at Fry's, and people were able to come in and have conversations with me. After a while, it became shortly evident that, they talked to me, something I had kind of, on a subconscious level, have been somewhat aware of my whole life, just not to the extent of it through corporate home invasion, but that my life was the source of in our generation, the source of the communications for the Book of Revelation and the Holy Bible. And I was like, yeah, okay, I get it. And then they kind of encouraged me to go read Daniel and Revelation and stuff. And it was, I was like, oh, okay. I explained it to them, what it was really about. And, and apparently people that do televangelist preaching, and Richard McCarthy or whatever stuff, they went and, a lot of people changed their multi-million-dollar corporations and theologians changed their perspective on how they teach the Bible to human beings and stuff. And then, of course, I'm an anonymous wackadoodle in Las Cruces, New Mexico, who thinks he's God, according to a lot of wackos. I'm like, yeah, okay. But I didn't have to explain. I told that to my sister when I wrote down the book that I read on YouTube, the parable of Juan and Jesus, that, she sat there and says, so the book seems like Girl Saves Jesus. I was like, I didn't have to. If you've read the Holy Quran, Muhammad is the one that says, Jesus cries out in prayer and says, let them know that I'm not a God, that I'm the spirit of Father Adam that gave us faith in God, and, stuff. So that's not a requirement. This is basically me stepping up to redeem Muhammad as the continuation of the Prince of Peace, like Jesus, and get people to understand it without tribal, secular, and sort of warfare and murdering one another and stuff. That's not what we as people that you'd call Christians or Muslims do. A Muslim is Arabic for basically saying someone who lives the peace of Jesus Christ, okay? Because people weren't living, people that called themselves the corporation, the Vatican stuff, that was mass murdering people in the name of Jesus Christ, and that's wrong, right? And so the way of Jesus Christ had to be protected because it's sacred, and that's what Muhammad stepped up to do. But he says, and you'll go read the Quran, that that the people that claim to be Muslim are going to be like the people that claim to be Christians, and they're going to mass murder in the name of God. And they don't even understand, the word, Jesus explains in the Bible, the word God is sacred. It's used, it can't be used in a way to manipulate people. It has to be used in a way for people to be humble and understand the essence of their existence. A lot like Judeo-Christian talked about. Right? And I'm certain Haile Selassie did also. But I'm certain that the Abrahamic Bible was corrupted by corporations like the CIA and probably British SAS and other things like that. You ever seen the Tinker Tailor Spy and Where Eagles Dare and stuff? Well, that's the type of people you're in the Kingsman movies and stuff. These are the kind of wackadoodles you're dealing with. That are willing to murder people to keep them believing in in money and business and maintain their social position of conflict and brain chemical addiction. And these people, they don't even love their own children, because you can't. You can't deny the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer and deny people living the faith of Psalms and the wisdom of Proverbs and not even attempt to participate and love your own children. You're addicted to brain chemical activity that's very bad, and you want to pass that addiction on to your children because most likely in spirit you were given that addiction by the eternal spirit, molecular transfiguration of being so it's like a mutual brain chemical addiction activity perpetuates itself through with either to it labeling as like biological, psychological conditioning, right? And so as I'm watching the soccer matches. I've been watching all the soccer matches, and it looks like England just tied Switzerland and stuff. And so, do I care who wins? Not really. I'm not. I didn't care if the U.S. won or lost in Copa, and I'm a Parson, so we're British. But do I care if Britain wins or loses to Switzerland? No, not at all. I don't care if the Swiss win. Social pressures and conformities through economic marketing representation and stuff. I could give a shit less. But I don't care. And I'm sitting here, not so much contemplating, but just wondering how all this social media cesspool stuff is working, because I sat last night and I watched something I was unaware of. There was this 30-30 they had on ESPN about the riots in 2011 in Vancouver, British Columbia, one of the most cosmopolitan, intelligent cities in the whole world, right? They're acting like the wackadoodles in Seattle, which makes sense because it's group thought process and group, they're influenced by each other and group communication through social media. And they were acting like anti-establishment, dysentery, whatever, radicals and stuff. And I encountered a lot of shit like that on Facebook too. You talk intelligently. Somebody needs their antipsychotic meds, and they would all attack you. And I found that the liberal sects and the scientists and the people that listen to professionals and then consider themselves a professional because they read a professional's book, right, act just as aggressive and wacko as people that read the Bible and then thought they could teach you the word God and faith and trust and love, because I read the Bible, damn it, and it's the same thing, they all have their little Bibles. And the Bible is a book, okay, of a reflection of people that believe in a perfect Father who's mature and understands, the humility of the essence of our existence, and then teaches people to have faith and understanding the natural laws of what's required to maintain our physical existence through holy covenants, sexual marriages that understand, that we're given life by an essence greater than ourselves, and then appreciate one another and understand you live through one another through protecting and loving one another with standing by, marriage vow, wedding vows, things like that. And so you're gosh, I'm sorry right now. I'm really emotional, and I'm just, my head inside is screaming, I hate this fucking place, and I'm sick of these fucking people. And I'm sitting there watching these idiots on TV, all clapping over, philanthropy, marketing, and mental slavery, and I'm just like, good God. And they get together in these large groups, and they, and you can kind of understand the riot of the kids and the reactions to the kids, just the anger. Okay. This is 2011, and on Facebook, there's a guy who's getting on every day and getting his balls beaten to the dirt and trying to be rotted off by corporations and act like he doesn't exist and stuff. And this has a subconscious reaction that affects all people. I was in that arena. I was in that. It wasn't a community. It was an arena. It was set up for people to fight over social position and keep people really wealthy and brain chemical addicted to that kind of. It's basically like it was, Facebook was like Don King putting Frazier and Ali into the ring and making tons and tons and tons and tons of marketing money and exploitation off of it, and being the masters of extortion. And that's what it was. That's what it still is. And I just don't want to go back into that kind of arena. YouTube's that way too. Yeah, but YouTube's not as interactive. You can't put up your status and say, I'm living in the light of the Lord's Prayer, and have everybody ignore it or attack you with it. They just ignore you and say a few stupid things, and that's about it. It's not sharing your status, and it's more interactive and more abusive on Facebook than it is on YouTube. YouTube, you can tune it out. Okay, at Facebook, no, they either they're if they throw you into the community, it's like a Shark Tank. It's like a pack of wolves. On YouTube, they just you're just not there and nobody cares and fuck you and die. It's like, yeah, that's a little bit easier to deal with than everybody trying to come and eat your carcass. I love you, okay?